I think last time I was still on the track that I wanted to find enlightenment and is there a way and things like this, but actually I'm not thinking much about this anymore. So I always wondered if I can do something about enlightenment and things like this, but it seems very obvious that I can't do anything for this
Yeah.
for me. I was with Tony Parsons last week in Munich, and he very straightly says that you can't do anything for it.
I don't think he
And
does say that. I think you've misinterpreted it.
oh, really?
No, I don't think he does. I listened to
I
him.
think
I don't think he's ever said there's nothing you can do to get to enlightenment.
he does. I think very clearly he states it
So,
in his.
so you think that he says there's nothing you could do, or is it that he says there is no you to do anything?
Both.
Okay, so next time we speak, I want to hear an audio extract of him actually saying there is nothing you can do, because that would be an absolute contradiction of everything that he says.
What does he say?
That there is no you that could do anything, which is a totally different thing.
Yeah, and everything that is done for enlightenment comes from the you, from the I, so it's not possible.
But
Isn't it?
it's two different, totally different messages. There is nothing you can do, and there is no you that can do anything. That's two totally different sentences that mean totally different things. So I would go back and listen really hard to see if Tony does actually say that there is nothing you can do. Because that means something completely different. Do you understand the difference between the sentences?
Yeah, of course. I think so. I think so. He emphasizes in his book this too, that there is no you. And if there's no you, you can do nothing. It's
Well, no,
obvious,
that's a
isn't it?
totally contradiction, because why would he say if there is no you, then the you can do nothing?
Because the you doesn't exist.
Yeah, but that doesn't, that saying that you can do, that you can't do anything to get enlightened implies there is a you. It's the biggest misunderstanding that people get from non-duality. And it's a really important distinction. I've never once said there is
Yeah.
nothing you can do, but yet I would say that most people say that's why I say. I've never said that. I would never say it. It's such a irresponsible thing to say. When I say irresponsible, it's like it's just totally misguiding the person, because then the person thinks, there's nothing I can do, as that person is always going to feel like it can do something. That's how the person feels, but it's never done a thing. The person never separately acted. So what happens in most people is that they listen to this sort of message and they use it just to stay in depression and apathy. And they're totally misunderstanding what Tony or what these speakers talk about, which is really sad. It's a huge misinterpretation. So now, can you touch your nose? Can you put your finger on your nose?
Apparently I can.
Right.
But
so it comes with that
I
feeling,
can't.
right? But you're going to listen to Tony or you're going to listen to me and you're going to go against that. So can you stand up if I ask you to?
Please, the connection, there was some acoustic problems.
Oh, okay. So if I said to you, if I said, can you put your hand on your head, could you?
Apparently, yes. It feels
Don't
like
just
I
copy
can.
Tony. You got to speak about it from your own experience.
Yeah, and I also have to say that it's obvious that I, the illusionary I, that I still think I am, can't do anything for
So you can't do it. So the illusory eye can't do anything for enlightenment. But can the
Yeah.
illusory person put its hand on its head?
Yes, it seems so.
Okay. So this is really important. So there is an appearance of somebody that can put its hand on its head. And there's an appearance of somebody that can get up and walk out now, or there's an appearance of somebody that could switch off or hang up on me and hang up the phone. But that appearance of that person, where does the appearance come from? So where is it that that impulse comes from? Hello?
Yeah. Which impulse?
The any impulse of thought. So the impulse to put your hand on your head, or if I say to you, can you put your hand on the head, and you say yes I can, where is that coming from?
I would say nowhere.
Exactly. So that person always acts as if it has free will, and if it has doership, that's how the person appears, always. But the freedom is that movement to the nowhere, that it comes from nowhere, that the person has never acted independently. Tony is not saying there's nothing you can do to get to enlightenment. He's discounting the idea that there is somebody there that ever worked independently. You don't know how the impulses or those thoughts come up. They spontaneously come up. There's not actually somebody at the bottom of it driving it consciously. It's spontaneously appearing, these ideas and these thoughts. So it's totally
Yeah, yeah,
irrelevant, the
sure,
idea of
sure.
whether or not you can get to enlightenment. Like that's totally irrelevant, because enlightenment is a made up place that we're fantasizing about. Enlightenment is right here in the no place where all your thoughts and ideas are coming from. So the whole idea that that person has nothing to, cannot get to enlightenment or can get to enlightenment, is totally irrelevant. And the idea that you can't get to enlightenment is just as illusory as you can get to enlightenment.
That I can't get to enlightenment was always clear, I think, or most of the time
Enlightenment
it
is
was clear.
where your thoughts are coming from. So how would you possibly get to enlightenment?
Yeah,
And
sure, 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 sure,
the
sure,
idea
sure.
that you can or can't get to enlightenment, or that you can or can't do it, is irrelevant. Like, it's totally irrelevant. If the person's feeling more positive and identifies with more positive teachings, then it will be more attracted to teachers that say that you can do something to get enlightenment. If the person is more negative and depressive, then it will be more attracted to the teachers that say there is nothing you can do to get to enlightenment. And both is totally irrelevant. It's just what the person wants to identify with. I have never said there's nothing you can do to get to enlightenment, because it's got nothing to do with it. The person just is more attracted to the teachers which fit its story better. So
Okay.
I would assume that you have a tendency to feel powerless, so therefore you're attracted to the idea that there's nothing you can do to get to enlightenment. But that's got nothing to do with
Yes, I am,
enlightenment.
but it does not depress me. It The point was, I think, there always I it was clear when it was clear for me that I can't reach enlightenment
But that's got nothing to do
or
with
things like.
enlightenment. That's got nothing to do with anything here. Whether or not you can't reach enlightenment.
Yeah, that's also what I think to have understood, that this has nothing to do with enlightenment, eh, no matter what I'm doing or trying.
And so where does that leave you then, with that new input?
I become more relaxed. It gives me relaxation.
But that's useless. More relaxation. I mean, that's nice,
I know,
but it's
it's also useless,
yeah.
but it feels better.
Yeah, the relaxation feels better, but it will also at
For
some point feel bad for you because it's an attachment in time. Your freedom is right here. Your freedom is in what's ever happening. Screw all the thoughts about what you think you know about enlightenment or you think about this path. What's important is this honesty of this moment, of what's actually happening. So if you think to yourself, there's nothing I can do to get to enlightenment and that's relaxing, it's just another ego pill. It's just another pleasure pill that brings you more pleasure because you feel relaxed. What's important is the actual experience, what's actually happening. That's always what's important. Not what you think about what's happening, that's been the illusion. But I'm sorry, I'm taking too much away from you, and most probably it's hurting. Or it might feel nice, you never know. But this is what's important. So what's your current experience?
I let it sink in, what you just said.
Yeah.
Makes me a bit speechless.
Yeah. And so what is the current experience? I mean, the speechlessness happening. What else?
Little bit sadness,
Yeah.
emptiness.
Yeah.
My mind is empty.
And this is where the freedom is. One of the most beautiful things that Tony says is don't leave this room with anything. And you left that room with something, a new idea from Tony Parsons. It's about this. It's about what's happening. It's about the juiciness of what's happening, not about concepts. And don't use me or Tony's words in order to stay in concepts. It's always about what's happening, the juiciness of what's happening. But what we're normally always trying to do is we're using concepts in order to bring about a particular experience, whether it be relaxation. But if you're feeling tense, don't use these concepts to not feel tense. Allow the tenseness to be there. You won't find a way out in the mind. The mind is what's created the problem. It's about this, what's happening.
Yeah, I think I most of the time missed the juiciness you were talking about.
Yeah, it's coming back to what's actually happening. So that what's actually really here. Not using some story of non-duality in order to feel the sensation of relaxation. It's just another drug that will work momentarily. You feel, and everything you think isn't true. It's never true.
But I can't force myself into the now, I guess.
It's not about forcing yourself into now, it's just being honest. There's nothing wrong with thinking, actually. It's just when the thoughts are trying to get out of what's happening that the discomfort arises. And the now is your nature. The now is what's listening. The now is what's looking. The now is what's experiencing itself and never left. What came in the now was a person that keeps identifying in time and believing that it's separate and that it's someone that's listening to these words.
Yeah, true. Don't know what to say.
Just let it do its magic.
The last days I had hardly time to meditate or feel because I'm very stressed. Having to find a new flat, and it seems very hopeless.
What, finding a new flat?
Yes.
Yeah? But just allow that feeling in. So the feeling comes up, and then the mind is trying to avoid that feeling of hopelessness. And it's not true, anything that you say or feel. So if you're feeling afraid, or if it's telling you that you won't find it, this isn't true. Like, just let it come. Just give yourself some time to let those feelings come up. Hopelessness and going into that hopelessness is just a default position of the person. And feeling like it's out of control of life, but it comes with the assumption that it feels like it could be in control of life, and then it oscillates between the two, dependent on the circumstances in which it's seeing. But just neither's true.
I became sick also and had to continue searching.
Your stories about what's happening aren't true. This is what's true. So is there a sensation of fear appearing now?
No. I think meanwhile, while you introduced me into, since you introduced me to feel my pain and these things, I think the pain became less, so there's no fear or tension, or hardly tension or fear. It seems to be easier to let free my feelings. So what's there?
Sorry?
So your question was, what's there now, I guess. I still feel quite empty. Little tension, but little tensions always there somehow.
Oh, nice. And nice to speak with you again. Thank you for being so open
Yeah,
to that.
my pleasure.
Thank you. Bye, Sebastian.
Thank you, Lisa.